When we think of journaling, we usually picture, I don't know, a simple diary, right? But what if I told you it's actually more like a form of DIY brain surgery? Seriously, today we are diving into the science of how the simple act of writing can literally, and I mean literally, rewire your brain for the better.
Okay, so it starts like this. You know that feeling? Your mind feels totally full, just crammed with stuff, but it's completely unfocused. It's like having 1,000 tabs open in your brain, but you can't click on a single one.
And so you drift. You find yourself scrolling endlessly on your phone, you're clicking from one browser tab to the next, just kind of hoping to land on something, anything that'll hold your attention for more than a few seconds.
In your digital world, it starts to look just like your inner world. You've got a text message that's half finished. A bunch of ideas spark, and then poof, they're gone before they can become real thoughts. It's just this state of constant, unproductive motion.
Yeah. Does any of this sound familiar? If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. This mental static is a super common experience. But what's actually going on inside our heads when we feel this way?
Well, the way out of all this chaos, believe it or not, is to take those scattered thoughts and turn them into written words. So let's get into the neuroscience of how writing can actually rewire our brains.
See, inside your brain, there's this constant dialogue happening between two major players. First, you've got the amygdala. Think of it as your emotional smoke alarm. It reacts instantly to stress, to feelings, to everything. Then you've got the prefrontal cortex, which is like your brain's CEO. It's the part that does all the logical planning. And when you're overwhelmed, that smoke alarm is just blaring, completely drowning out the calm, rational CEO. Journaling? Well, journaling is what forces them to sit down and start talking to each other again. It brings order back to all that noise.
And the science behind that brain conversation? It has a name, affect labeling. And it's so cool. Just by putting your feelings into words, you activate the reasoning part of your brain, that CEO. And that in turn helps to quiet down that emotional smoke alarm. You're not ignoring the feeling, you're just taming it.
And look, this isn't just a nice theory. A 2021 study from Stanford actually confirmed it. They did brain scans of people who were doing expressive writing, and they saw that the areas that usually light up under emotional pressure became calmer, more coordinated. It's visible, measurable, neurological repair. And here's a fascinating twist. A 2023 study found that how you write makes a huge difference. The physical act of handwriting, with all its fine motor control, actually activates more regions of the brain than just typing on a keyboard. When your hand is moving with your thoughts, your mind is forced to slow down just enough to make sense of everything.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? Let's start with the first and maybe the most foundational technique, expressive writing. This one is all about processing those big, heavy emotions.
The core idea here is really powerful. When you try to suppress an emotion, push it down, your brain sees it as an open task, like an unfinished piece of work that needs to be closed, and it just keeps spending energy on it in the background. Writing about that emotion is the act of finally completing that task. It closes the loop.
And the best part? The time commitment is so manageable. All it takes is 15 to 20 minutes. That's it. Just think of it like a short, focused therapy session with yourself. It's a tiny investment of time that can bring this immense feeling of relief.
Okay, so here's how you do it. Pick something that still has an emotional charge for you. Set a timer and just write. The only rule is don't stop. Don't worry about grammar, don't edit yourself, just let it all flow out. This is for your eyes only. The whole point is just to get it out of your head and onto the page until you feel that sense of release. That's how you'll know it's working.
All right, on to our second technique, which is all about shifting your focus. Now, this isn't about ignoring the bad stuff. It's about actively training your brain to search for the good stuff. This is gratitude journaling.
And this is a really crucial point. This isn't about forcing positivity or pretending everything's perfect. It's about training your brain. Our minds are naturally wired to spot threats. It's a survival thing. So this practice helps us build a new mental muscle to also notice what's stable, what's good, and what's supportive in our lives.
The key here, and this is so important, is specificity. Don't just write, "I'm grateful for my friend," write why. "I'm grateful for the way my friend really listened when I needed to talk today." That detail is what anchors the positive memory in your brain and helps you build new, healthier neural pathways.
Our final technique is for those times when you just feel stuck or confused by a challenge. It's called reflective reframing, and it's all about turning obstacles into real opportunities for growth.
This is a super simple but incredibly powerful three-step process. First, just describe what happened like a neutral observer. Just the facts, no judgment. Second, interpret it. What did you learn from this? What did it show you about yourself or the situation? And finally, the most important part, decide on one small, concrete action you can take based on what you learned. This process turns you from just being a passive victim of your life into an active learner.
So, when we combine all three of these techniques, we start to see the bigger picture. Journaling isn't just about expressing yourself. It's about actively constructing yourself. I love this metaphor, mental cross-training, right? You wouldn't go to the gym and only do bicep curls forever. Your mind needs that variety too. These different techniques are like different exercises for different mental muscles, helping you build a much more well-rounded, resilient mind.
And this slide is basically your cheat sheet. Feeling overwhelmed by some big emotion? Use expressive writing. Feeling kind of disconnected or numb? Try gratitude journaling. Facing a challenge that just feels confusing? Use reflective reframing. You now have a whole toolkit for your mental well-being.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Every single time you write, you're actively participating in your own neuroplasticity. You're creating new connections in your brain, you're calming old anxieties, and you are literally building a stronger, more resilient mind, one word at a time.
So the next time you're sitting there, staring at that blank page, try to reframe the question. It's not, ugh, what should I write? It's, what is my brain trying to tell me? It's not a test you have to pass. It's an invitation. It's an opportunity to listen to the signals your brain is sending you and to finally give them a place to land.